see.
So follow me on the tube,
Twitter and IG.
like, comment, subscribe,
Give that bell a ring.
hope you decide to stay.
Show some love to my page.
Stick around if you wish, cause my life is lit.
What's up, everybody? Okay, so first and foremost, let's just go ahead and address the obvious elephant in the room. No, there is no infamous graffiti backdrop behind me today because this is not a podcast episode. If you recall, or may not recall, in episode 15, that was my season finale of the first season, and I will kick off season 2 at the end of August, 1st of September. We'll just see how that goes. It's kind of up in the air right now, but that's what my time frame is as far as when I'll be kicking off season 2. So in between time, what I decided to do is kind of experiment with a mini vlog series. I'll try to do this on like a weekly basis, and we'll just see how it goes from there for the most part. But a lot of people have been telling me, even before I came up with the podcast, was to start vlogging like my day-to-day activities and, you know, just showing what it is I do on a day-to-day basis, the people I associate myself with. And a lot of people, especially pre-COVID, a lot of my stories used to get a lot of people reacting to it and saying, yo, like, you and your friends seem just so lit and out of control. Really, they just really took a liking to the hood rat activities that we tend to do on the not a day-to-day basis, more of like a weekend basis, if that makes sense. But anyway, I figured to kick off today's vlog series, I could take you guys along with me to go get a tattoo, and I'll try to vlog as much as possible. But honestly, it's a very sensitive area that I'm having tattooed today, so how much I vlog just depends on the amount of pain that I'm in at the time. Hopefully I'll get enough or whatever to share, you know, some quality content with you guys. But at the end of the day, what I plan on doing is talking about the overall piece itself, what it means, what it symbolizes. And I can also get into a lot of things that I feel like a lot of people would know, especially when it comes to like the pain of the areas that I had tattooed for this piece and so on and so forth. So anyway, let's go ahead, get our day started. I'm about to jump in this car, drive to the shop, and be in probably some pretty intense pain. So pray for me. Anyway, see you guys in a few. I'm on my way to the tattoo shop right now. And I don't know, man. It always gets me when I'm on the way to the tattoo shop is when it really hits. Like, am I really doing this to myself again? Like, why do I keep putting my body through this? And now that I'm getting older, I can tell that my tolerance for pain is like plummeting because every session I've had done recently has been terrible. But then again, I think the thigh in itself is just one of the most, I think legs in general are the most painful tattoos that you can get, in my opinion, because out of all the tattoos I got, those definitely hit different. But I'm actually running late, but knowing my artist, he's running just as late, so I'll probably still end up having to wait on him, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm gonna try to vlog as much as this experience as possible. Honestly, it just depends on the level of pain. If it's too intense, you're probably just gonna get bits and pieces here and there, if that. But if I can deal with it and it's pretty bearable, I'll try to like vlog as much as possible and maybe do like a time lapse sort of thing so you guys can see how it starts versus how it finishes. So yeah, I guess we'll start back up when I actually get in the chair. So later.
All right, you guys, so to prevent copyright issues, I actually had to remove the audio that took place during the actual tattoo process due to the music that was playing. So I'll just be using this time to narrate what was going on throughout the process. So here I am with my life in shambles as he's prepping this stencil, and it wasn't until this moment that I really started getting nervous, because then it dawned on me that this was going to be a nice size piece, and I was actually having him add the negative shading of some leaves to fill in some filler spots that were needed to tie in the rest of the piece together. And so here I am once again stressed out because I'm like, whoa, so this is big, this is about to hurt. Why do I keep doing this to myself? And then I basically was trying to psych myself out and remind myself that the pain will be worth it. And here is when he actually started with the first set of lines, which were the lines around the leaves. And the first line or two, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of hurt, but after that, it actually was fine and it became very bearable. And I believe at one point I actually say here that it wasn't too bad. Yeah, there it is. I said right there, it wasn't too bad. So then what he typically does is jump back and forth between shading and outlining. And this is the product when it's about halfway through. He still had quite a bit of shading to go back and do because he wanted to really make sure that those leaves popped, and so did the stripes and the whiskers. So for that reason, this here is when things really start going left. Like the pain went from about a 4 or a 5 and jumped up to like a 6 or a 7 because those dark areas were super painful, especially in this area around the negative shading of the leaves, the whiskers, the mouth, and getting back towards the back of that pit of the knee sucked. Just left the shop, just finished up, and oh my gosh, my thigh is on fire right now. Sheesh, I did not think about this. The fact that my leg was going to be this sore. Ugh. But anyway, I'm about to show you guys the finished product here in a second. I got some videos and pics, but yeah, I think it was so clutch that, you know, thank God I'm not new to this, I'm true to this, so I already knew what exactly to get that I will be able to endure, so, you know, I wouldn't be under too much pain, because I can tell you right now, I was not getting that full ass tire. There was no way I was going to be able to do that. So I told him up front, I was like, look, I'm doing, because he wanted to do more, and I'm like, nah. I'm like, I want to do half a face and fill in all the spots that's left to be filled on this thigh with negative shading of leaves. Like, let's just do that. And honestly, the negative shading is probably my favorite part of the entire thigh piece. Like, he ate that shit up. But I'll show you guys in a second when I get back to the crib. All right, you guys, so this is the final product. I've had this wrap on for about an hour to 2 hours max. I typically keep it on for that length of time, so you know, it catches any blood and any other leakage from the tattoo, especially like any like excessive ink that has already drawn out of the tattoo. And at this point, I'm about to start giving it an initial wash. I'm actually supposed to be meeting up with my cousin within the next hour or so I can't be looking a mess and all bloody down my leg. That's not cute. So what you see here is me using the bar soap, specifically Dove bar soap, to clean the tattoo. I don't know whether many people know this or not, but you should actually stay away from body washes, especially the scented body washes. Reason being is because I believe those additives that they add to get certain scents can really irritate your tattoo. And I found that out the hard way. I remember back in college, I had got a tattoo and I was unaware that the body wash that I had purchased was actually scented. And yeah, I basically set my back on fire. I made that mistake one time and one time only. And a few years ago, someone put me on to Dove soap, and I swear by it. Of course, Dove is already really good for you if you have sensitive skin. So it only logically makes sense to use it for your tattoos, because I swear by it, it does not irritate the tattoo, and it gives it just enough moisture to where it helps with the healing process and keeping it moisturized, especially during that ugly peeling phase. But again, I'm making sure I'm giving it a good lather, so I can get as much blood off of it as possible, and also some of that leftover ink in some of the spots. I know I look crazy, but again, I'm supposed to be meeting up with my cousin, so I'm making sure that this thing is clean as possible, so there's not any excessive leakage whatsoever, until I can give it another final wash when I jump in the shower later tonight. Something else that I'm trying to be mindful of is making sure that I'm not using too much water. Of course, for anybody that knows that's had a tattoo before, they definitely recommend that you stay out of bodies of water for at least the next 2 weeks. And so throughout that process, I literally only wet my tattoos when I'm in the shower, and I try to cut down on my shower time so it's not drawing out the ink or irritating it any further. And I also make sure that I'm avoiding using washcloths and washing it by hand. I realize that also helps the healing process. And as you see here, I make sure to pat dry opposed to rubbing, because that will only further irritate the area. And here is the final product. As you see, it's clean and dried off really nicely. For now, I'm gonna avoid putting the aquifer on because I typically start putting that on tonight, and then I'll do it twice a day after tonight.
Welcome back, you guys. Couple disclaimers. So for starters, you'll probably see in a couple seconds, my dog wants you guys to see him so bad. Like, if you tune into my podcast episodes, for the first half of the season, he was barking and making all sorts of noise in the background. So he wanted to be heard in that series, and now in the vlog series, he clearly wants to be seen. So don't be alarmed if you see him trying to jump in and out the frame from time to time. He acts like a crackhead, so don't mind him. And then other disclaimer I wanted to throw out there is the fact that I ended up getting really booked and busy the day that I actually got home, and I was supposed to do another follow-up and explain, my overall tattoo experience and stuff like that. But again, with me being so booked and busy over the course of that weekend, this is now a week later after I got my tattoo, and I actually throughout this week thought about the fact that I should probably explain what made me even come up with this overall piece, and just explain a bit more regarding the thigh piece in its entirety, I guess you can say. So for starters, 2 years ago, I came up with this idea of doing like a thigh piece or whatever, and I was gonna get different animals to symbolize different things that were important to me. And the first piece that I got was actually a lion, which I'm gonna post somewhere in here, the final product of the lion. But I got that piece, again, like 2 years ago, and the lion to me symbolizes being a leader and also having courage. So, just to be transparent, over these last few years, I really struggled with certain insecurities that I had regarding certain things I wanted to seriously pursue. And then it just got to a point where I can honestly say, like, when I hit 30, with that being like one of my most recent like milestones in life I reached or whatever, when I reached that particular birthday, it was just like an awakening I had. Like, I woke up that day and I was just like, especially with the way that a lot of things were going on in our country at the time with all the racial injustices and, with the unfortunate death of George Floyd and things of that nature, I was just like, you know what? As if I already didn't know, that was kind of like a wake-up call. Like, okay, life is too short. You shouldn't be too concerned about what everyone else feels as though you should do. You should just do whatever it is that makes you happy. So that's when I decided to, do the podcast and even kick off this vlog series. And I have another project that I have coming up too that I'll be sharing with you guys within the next month or so. But anyway, so so as far as the tattoo process for the lion went, it was by far my most painful tattoo at that point of my life. Like, from the first line to the very last line, it was terrible. And actually, I think what the issue was for me is a lot of times I would psych myself out when I get tattoos. Like, mentally, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is about to hurt so bad. But typically once it starts, I quickly adjust to the pain and I'm able to like deal with it fine or whatever. But that was the one tattoo that when it started, I never got used to the pain and it was just excruciating. And since that was the first piece of this idea that I had came up with for the thigh piece, I was like, you know what? I clearly can't deal with this pain, so we're clearly gonna have to scratch the rest of this idea. But as the months went on, I was like, I don't like to quit something that I started. I was serious about this or whatever. And I was like, granted, this could be a standalone piece, but that wasn't my intentions behind starting this. So I have to see it through. So it took me a couple years, and I've had a few other smaller tattoos in between time. But I did go back and start the piece back in January of this year. So basically, I took a 2-year break between the start of this thigh sleeve and then up until recently. So I thought once I could handle the front part of my thigh being done, I would easily be able to adapt to the pain to any other part of the thigh, and I was wrong. The second piece that I had added was this wolf. And yeah, that was by far the most painful tattoo I've ever got to date. And if you know me, I have quite a bit of tattoos. Like my body is kind of covered, although a lot of my clothing covers the majority of my tattoos, which we can talk about that at a later time too. But yeah, the wolf, for starters, I got it to symbolize a couple things. Like one, again, a lot of my tattoos speak to a lot of things that are important to me based on my upbringing and religion. So for starters, I forgot to mention this when I was talking about the lion piece. The way I was brought up, my father always instilled in myself and my siblings to always carry yourself with a leader mentality and not be a follower. So with that being said, the wolf for me speaks to being an alpha. And also, wolves are known to run their packs based on like communication and respect due to the different levels within their pack. And like each level that the wolf is supposed to, each role they play within their pack is basically what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I got tongue tied just then. But so that's what that speaks to. Now, to get into the pain of this piece, oh my gosh. Like, I won't say that it necessarily hurt from the very first line to the very last, but I just remember, for one, as it was just, I don't know how to describe it, man. It was just painful because the lining, like the outline hurt, and then the shading felt worse. And typically for me, when I get tattoos, it's either one or the other. It's like the outline really sucks or the shading really sucks. But it's very rare that both suck, and both were terrible. And the sections that I recall being the worst are the sections that actually go close to like that pit of the knee, like that area behind the knee. And then honestly, I just remember the silhouette of the wolf howling in the moon. All that was trash too. Like that process was terrible. And I felt like I was sweating that entire tattoo. Like the entire process sucked. But I was very happy with the outcome or whatever. And so now to go to the back of the thigh, I actually was most nervous about the back of the thigh. And it ended up being really bearable. Granted, again, I would say about the last 10 minutes of that process sucked. But, and again, it was because it was back near that pit of the knee or whatever. But the majority of that process, again, was pretty bearable. And the reason why I got the owl, which I'm going to post up here somewhere too, is because it stands for wisdom. And another insecurity I had growing up was, I don't know, you could probably see it now with the light and everything, but for anyone that knows me knows I started getting gray hair as early as high school. I think I was 16 when I got my first gray hair. And then by the time I got to college, especially once I declared my major, the gray hairs just took over. They've only been growing more and more since. So I used to be really insecure about it because, of course, you stand out like a sore thumb being young, having gray hair. So you're getting a lot of questions like, what are you doing with all those gray hair? Like, what are you stressed out about? You're too young to be stressed, stuff like that. But a lot of older people that are really superstitious, which I do consider myself to be pretty superstitious as well, but a lot of people in that generation will often be like, oh, like, so you're wise for your age. And I'm like, I get that a lot, but I don't understand where that comes from, especially when people don't really know me that well. And that's the first thing they say about me when they see me. They're like, oh, you're a wise person. And they're like, oh, well, from a superstitious standpoint, anytime you see someone young with premature gray hair, it's supposed to be a telltale sign that they're wise beyond their years. And it was kind of like, oh, that makes a lot of sense because, again, a lot of times when I meet like people that are in my parents' generation, that's one of the first things they say is, I just seem like a very mature and well put together sort of person, even at times when I'm not. But that's basically, long story short, what the owl speaks to. And it's cool now that a lot of people feel as though I own the gray hair, and like it kind of was a confidence boost too once I started getting a lot of compliments about the gray hair and stuff too, which is another, it also speaks to the fact as to why I feel like now looking back, I was ridiculous for being so insecure. But of course, like I just felt that way back in the day, but opposed to now, it is what it is. But then the last part, the most recent piece I had added was the tiger. And tigers actually stand for power and strength. And I felt like it was important to have this animal incorporated into the piece because, for one, a lot of people have this misconception that lions are actually the king of the jungle, but in actuality, tigers are the king of the jungle because, for one, lions don't even live in the jungle. That's not a part of their natural habitat, whereas tigers actually do. And tigers actually are bigger and badder than lions are, which is something I don't think a lot of people know either. Tigers don't run in packs or prides the way that lions do. They hunt solo. They're independent, so everything they do on their own. So they, in that logical sense, have to be bigger and badder than lions because they're out for themselves. And also from a statistical standpoint, 9 times out of 10, anytime a tiger and a lion fight, the tiger always wins. But that was just a little Animal Planet lesson for y'all. But anyway, so again, I felt it was important to have this depicted on me because all these animals, well, I can't lie, not all of them. Lions and tigers are some of my favorite animals. I'm a fan of big cats, but not domestic cats. But I think it's important to be able to be someone that's like a powerful leader, but more importantly, a fair leader. I'm the type of person where I have an issue where people have this certain title and they think that they can rule with an iron fist or use it to go on a power trip because they can throw their title and their authority in people's faces. But I'm the type of person where I feel like it speaks volumes if you're a leader that, you know, has a certain authority over a group of people, but you're a fair leader. You're somebody that's still very humble, someone that doesn't, although you're on this level, you don't look down on people that are beneath you, if that makes sense. And so the way I was raised was to be a leader, be someone that potentially could, you know, be in power over somebody, but know how to utilize your power and, again, just be a fair leader. And to my surprise, to touch on this piece of it, the pain, again, was actually pretty bearable. This and the back of my thigh were both about along the same lines of pain, I guess you can say. Like, if I were to rate each tattoo from a scale from 1 to 10, the lion absolutely would be like an 8. The wolf piece was a 9. And the owl and tiger, both were like a 6. Maybe 7 at the most. And the only reason why I would say 7 is because for both tattoos, I was fine up until the last 15, 20 minutes of the tattoo. Because again, it got to those like really sensitive areas around like that that knee area, like the pit of the knee area, which was trash. Like, I immediately, like, I was fine the whole piece of the tiger piece until we got to that back of the knee area. Like, that part was terrible. And then also the negative shading that was closest to my kneecap didn't feel too good either. It started out fine, but I tell people, me personally, I feel like shading is worse than outline, because shading, you have to continuously go over irritated skin over and over and over again. Whereas if you go to a solid tattoo artist, they should be to where like they can do one pass over and not have to go over it again. So it's a one and done sort of situation. Whereas again, for shading, that's not the case. But yeah, I'm overall very pleased with the way that the tattoo came out. Healing process wise, this tiger, I will say, out of all the pieces that I got, itches the most. Like, I keep catching myself almost scratching it, which is a no-no for people that don't know anything about tattoos. You're never supposed to scratch them. And it's just been peeling like crazy. And that's why I don't want to show a current update picture of what it looks like or whatever, because it's not pretty whatsoever. And this thing, it's hard to keep it moisturized. Like, I'm at the point where I've been putting like unscented lotion on it, and it just like sucks it up every time. Like, it's just been a task trying to keep this thing moisturized. But again, I'm very pleased with the way that this turned out. A lot of people don't even know that I got this yet, so I can't wait to show it off and show them that I completed the piece, because everyone was just like, oh, it's gonna be so hard when you finish. And yeah, I couldn't imagine this to turn out the way that it did. So again, I'm definitely gonna shout out my tattoo artist and put his information down in the description down below. But that does it for my tattoo update or whatever. But speaking of tattoos, if you guys are interested, I wouldn't mind doing like a tattoo tour and touch on my other tattoos and talk about, you know, my mindset behind those concepts and ideas. And I can also, again, share the pain experienced throughout those tattoo processes if you guys are interested. But I need to take my dog out so he can calm down, because I think he has to go to the bathroom again. But with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel and like my videos. And also, if you're new to my channel, please go and check out my podcast episodes. Like I said at the start of this video, I'm definitely going to start back doing a podcast around end of August, beginning of September, somewhere around there, to kick off the fall season. I actually, on the lowest of keys, I'm not gonna lie, I actually feel kind of sad that I took the break or whatever, but it was definitely necessary, because I got a lot of stuff going on, and I don't believe a lot of people know all the work that goes into a podcast or whatever. But yeah, again, I'm still reiterate, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And hopefully, you know, depending on how you guys like this series, I may try to continue this as well, and give you guys at least weekly updates and share, you know, certain things that I got going on in my life or whatever. And I'm definitely going to bring you guys along. I got a lot of trips coming up within the next month. Like, basically every week I'm doing something. So I'll try to share those experiences with you guys as well. But until then, until next time, deuces.